Welcome to Holly's Pandorium, featuring your host, psychic medium Holly Jordan.
Hey everybody, we're back. It's another episode of Holly's Pandorium. So today I have with me a mother and daughter team again, which I'm super excited about. This is Donna and Chelsea Roberts. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming today. I was on their podcast not too long ago, and they agreed to come here, so I'm very happy. And I wanted to start out today and ask you both to please share an event that happened in the paranormal for you. How old were you? What was going on at the time? And kind of give us a picture, paint a picture of what was happening. And then how did that affect your life, if you wouldn't mind? Chelsea, did you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, so I'm Chelsea, and I am Donna's daughter. And so I've always been included in this wonderful paranormal world for as long as I can remember. And the first experience that I can recall is from when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I was riding my little Tykes four-wheeler out in the yard. We had a really big driveway, really big yard, about 5 acres or so. And all I remember is just getting the feeling that I needed to stop. And I remember halting in the middle of the driveway in front of my dad's pole barn. And I stand up and I look and I watch like these little red shoes, like red Converse, like canvas shoes. Sure. And they're running around me. And I'm just watching them like, what's happening right now? And I see them as clear as day. And then they disappear. And then the only thing I can remember after that is crying for my mom. That was the very first thing I ever remember when it comes to the paranormal. And Mom can take it from there.
Wow. So what happened that day, Donna? What was going on?
Well, that was her, I always said that was her coming out day. That was the day that I sat her down on the counter when Daddy brought her in. And I said, "What'd you see?" And she told me. And I said, "He's not going to hurt you. You go right back out there and play with him." And she did. And I let her know, you're not to be afraid of this. There's no reason to be.
Okay.
I said, they can see you and you can see them. Talk to them.
Yep.
And she has ever since.
That's awesome. That is amazing. So that was quite the deal to have something strange happen and have Mom say, "It's normal. It's okay."
Yep. And It's funny too, because like growing up, I was always really open to Mom about everything I saw. I would say, "Hey, there's this little girl that appears to me in the yard. She has no eyes. It just looks like black holes in her face." And she's like, "Oh, she's fine. She just wants somebody to play with." I'm like, okay. And so I grew up with that. And to me, it was completely normal. Yeah. But when I hit middle school age, which was like 6th through 8th grade, it became a little bit tougher because in my eyes, it was normal. But for everybody else, that was something they didn't deal with. That was something they were told was just folk tales or, made up stories. So when I would go to school and say, "Hey, this is what I saw the other day," they'd be like, "Oh, no, that's a lie. You didn't see any of that." Mm-hmm. And that's when I started realizing, like, oh, people are making fun of me for this because they think that I'm just telling stories.
Right.
So that was when I really got a full dose of reality that not everybody believes the same way that we do. So it started getting really tough growing up, especially between like 7th and 10th grade.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's a big difference. So, Donna, where did you start with your understanding of the paranormal? When did that happen for you?
Honestly, like Chelsea, I was very young when I seen things, heard things, had my little invisible friends, and I'd talk to them, I'd play with them. I lived on 40 acres in the country. The woods was my best friend. I've
Okay.
seen things in the woods that a lot of people to this day probably still have the same.
Sure.
But could I talk to anybody about it? No.
Yeah.
Because you'd be crazy, or it was against the religion. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
So
Yes, I do.
I just basically stayed pretty quiet about it until I was 11 years old. And I went fishing with my great aunt. And she looked at me and she said, Donna, I know you can see. I've watched you growing up. Said, and I found this the perfect opportunity to talk to you.
Okay.
That's where I got it from. And I could talk to her about anything and everything. She told me stories about what she used to see and who'd she guide with her spirits, and we could keep it between us, but she always said, don't bring it up to anybody else because they will lock you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the same thing with my mom, and I'm grateful that she was so open, and it was a relief to have somebody treat me like it's okay, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, that there was other things to discuss about it. So it was like any other subject. It didn't become something scary or forbidden. It,
It was
it
life.
was like, it was just life. It was just as simple as sharing a recipe or a basic philosophy. There was nothing weird about it. So I think we're both very fortunate that we got to have that experience, because I know plenty of people that didn't get to have that sometimes until very late in life.
Yes. And then you think, how many people were literally locked up because people deemed them crazy, and they probably weren't.
Right.
Well, one of the ones that really gives me the shudders is thinking about people that were classified as having some enormous mental difficulty, and because they heard voices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone who has clairaudience, if you have no idea where that's coming from and you have no point of reference, it can be a little maddening.
Yeah.
Where is that? And I know of several people, unfortunately, that went through that in their 20s. When you're going through puberty in your teens, it starts and then it gets bigger and bigger. And yeah, so I'm very glad that you guys didn't have to do that. So can you share with our listening and viewing audience, what kinds of things do you take away from the paranormal? What are you most curious about? And what do you want people to know about why you do what you do in the paranormal?
I do what I do because I help people. We both do.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's the world. If we can help people learn and not be afraid and not believe these ghost shows on TV, they drive me crazy. Everything's a demon. Everything. And I'm like,
Right.
no. And they're making it a joke, and it's not a joke.
Yeah.
But that's my take on it. I just want to help people understand, answer their questions. If they've got problems that they can't sort out themselves, we're there for them.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not going to laugh at them. We're going to listen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Chelsea?
So for me, it's more just, I want people to understand, like, they're so heavily influenced by Hollywood scary movies, even these YouTube channels like Twin Paranormal, or all these big YouTube stars that are just throwing it down in the paranormal, but they're full of it. So my goal when it comes to this stuff is to show them that, yes, while it is very possible, while it is very real, what you see on your TV or what you see on your phone screen is not necessarily what you're going through. I don't want people to feel like they're crazy. I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm hearing noises, it's a demon.
Yeah.
Or, something's touching me, it's a demon. Like, that's not necessarily true. So, like, it's really comforting for me to go in and educate people and allow them to know that there is more than one possibility, whether it's something completely natural, like they have, high elevations of carbon monoxide or something along those lines, or maybe they have some sort of mechanism that's going wrong. So like a furnace or water heater, anything that throws off those electromagnetic fields.
Right.
To educate them and let them understand that there are more natural causes than paranormal.
Right.
That gives me comfort. And while I do tell them, yes, there are paranormal things that happen, 9 times out of 10, what they're going through can be naturally explained.
Right.
Yes.
And that is something that I take comfort in, because I don't want people to think that everything they see on TV is real. And honestly, one of the biggest things I've come across, especially lately, and I hold no judgment. If this stuff that somebody wants to do, you do you. That's great.
Right.
But when somebody uses recreational drugs, for example, like mushrooms or marijuana or anything like that, that can alter your perception.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually did an investigation for a very nice couple. They were so scared that something was happening.
Oh.
And as we got further along into the investigation, we're doing the interview. We're asking them more questions. They tell us, oh, well, we do mushrooms all the time. We do all of these things. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was one of those conversations where we had to politely tell them these may be hallucinations caused by the recreational things that you guys do. So it's just one of those things that we really like to enlighten people on. Like, there's more than one possibility. Is the paranormal real? Absolutely. In my opinion, without a doubt, it is real. But there are more than one explanation when it comes to these happenings. And that's what we like to tell people.
Exactly. So you guys went from experiencers, and do you quantify yourself as psychics or mediums, or how do you feel your skills are at this point in what you're doing?
I hate putting labels on us. To me,
I know, but it helps. It helps.
Hard thing. It does.
I know.
It does. It honestly depends on the situation. I can see things. I can see spirits. A lot of the times I use touch. If I touch somebody, I get flashes of what they're going through or what's coming.
Right.
It's open. It's open all the way around for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chelsea's pretty much the same way at this point.
For me, so mom uses more touch, and I like to use cards as my conduit. I love tarot cards. They've always been very helpful for me. But depending on who's sitting in front of me, they can sit down and I immediately, just snap of the fingers, I can feel what they're going through, and I'll tell them. And they'll be like, holy shit, that's exactly what I sat down for. I'm like, okay, we're on the right track. Good deal. But it really depends on the person. But when it comes to putting a label on it, I honestly hate the word psychic. And I say that because of the mainstream media, how they've labeled everything, how they say, oh, so you say you're psychic, so you can tell us what the winning lottery numbers are. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. But they don't get that, because to them, that is just one definition. Oh, you say you're psychic, so you mean you can tell the whole future. No, that's not what that means. Like, everything depends on the person, how open they are, how much they want to tell you, how much they want to know. And I've had people sit down in front of me and they've literally not wanted me to read them. And I will look at them and say, you don't want this. I'm not charging you. I'm not going to read you because you're not willing. And they're like, oh, okay. So it just really depends on the person.
I think you're right, Chelsea. And I think that's a very good point, because there's a stigma on the word psychic and the word medium, and there's a lot of misconceptions, and unfortunately television hasn't been real helpful. It's just like when someone says they're Wiccan or a witch or even a pagan, there's these weird preconceived ideas that people have that this is what that word means, this is what that label means. And I'm the same way. It's like I don't read anybody unless I'm asked. I've learned at my age and my skill level, I just shut it off. I don't have that. I would be exhausted beyond words if I left it on all the time. I'd never get any sleep. I'd never make it. And so I purposefully don't have that turned on all the time. Now there's times when it bombards me, and there's times when I get hits and I have to share something, which I'm grateful that's not very often because that's awkward as hell. To walk up to strangers and say, I need to give you this message from spirit, and I hope you're receptive, and please don't throw anything at me. And please,
please don't call the police.
Yes, I'm not stalking you. I swear to God, I'm just here to talk. Oh boy. Yeah. It's an experience and a half, but now I'm curious, do you guys ever get hits? And when I say hits for people that are listening or watching, I mean information that comes to you. So there's lots of people call it downloads or hits or whatever. Do you ever get information or hits from the past?
Mom, you want to go first?
Well, like what kind of past information?
Oh, just anything that's not today or forward. Anything prior. Do you ever get information from the past?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of it's ancestral.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending where we're at, I mean, to me, I call that like flashbacks. We could be in a certain building and walking through it, and I'll literally just stop because it could be an attachment to what's in there, or it could be the building itself. It's like I can see what was going on there back when they were there. It's pretty wild.
So I'm curious. So do you see what looks kind of like a movie clip?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
It's like an old movie clip.
Okay. Can you just, I know what you mean, but for people who are listening and watching, can you describe it, please, a little bit? Just give someone who's never experienced that. What is that like? What do you see typically? Or what have you seen? How about that?
Well, like when back in the day when we'd take Chelsea down to the Ann Arbor area to that old ghost town, the old cowboy town. I forget what that was called. But we walked into the saloon area, and it was like I was sitting in a old. You remember the old black and white movies that were brown and white movies?
Yes.
That's what it was like sitting in. I literally could see saloon girls coming down the stairs, a bartender with the mustache and the little ribbons around his arms and serving up stuff, and these dirty, and I mean dirty cowboys. They were nasty dirty, walking through the door like they were going to hang somebody. Just little flips in and out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was enough to just make you entranced.
Yes. It's very captivating. And I've noticed too, when I get things like that, I hear sounds, I hear conversations. Most of the time there's sound, not always. Sometimes I get a silent movie and it's just an activity. And I think a lot of that sometimes is from residual energy when there's no sound and it's quieter. I typically don't hear stuff unless it's someone repeating a phrase, perhaps, then I might hear the voice saying something or a conversation that repeats. But yeah, it's interesting how much it's like a little movie. It's just it's a whole scene that just drops into your head, and there it is. Now, for you, Chelsea, what can you share along the same lines? What have you experienced with things like that?
So, in the moments that when I am in communication with, say, the dead, my best example is a recent investigation. I went to a friend's house. She wanted to see what was in her house, and we were sitting in her basement. And all of a sudden, I'm picking up on an older woman. She seems Southern, and like when she's talking to me, it's not like I can hear her like you and me talking, but
Right.
it's almost like I'm hearing her as a memory is the best way I can describe it. And like, it's just so hard to explain because like, I can hear her voice, but I can't tell you what it sounds like. It's really bizarre. But so I'm telling her, like, I have this Southern woman swearing at me, telling me that she is very sassy. She's very spicy, right? And she is basically cussing and saying she doesn't like this and that. And that's usually how I relay things. I don't like to sugarcoat. Like, I like to just tell people how it comes across in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
And in this circumstance, she's like, "Oh my God, that's my Meemaw." I'm like, "Okay, we're on the right track then. That's good."
Right.
But like, it's just really odd to me because it's not like I can hear them like I hear you in this podcast, right? Like, I don't hear them in this kind of audio. It's almost like I hear them like I'm thinking about a movie that I've watched 100 times and I can recite the words in my head, right?
Right.
That's to me the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
I don't hear them physically. I hear them in here like I've heard them before.
Right. It's an internal audio. And it's very different from a physical sound in real time. But it is still a recording and you're still hearing things or things are being relayed to you internally, not audibly on the outside. So that's a good explanation. Because I think sometimes when you tell someone that you hear ghosts that they just can't hear them. Well, sort of. So that there's a difference. It's I think they do speak a little more softly. And I do think that more, a lot of things like that, it is internal. It's not an audible sound on the outside that you would be able to record necessarily. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So what kinds of things do you ladies like to do before you do an investigation to protect yourselves?
Mom?
Well, a lot of sage and prayer comes in handy.
Okay.
And we'll usually do that all around both of us before we even enter a building.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is before an investigation, I usually just like to, I mean, the best way I like to put it is I like to conk out. I usually just do things that completely distract my mind. So, anything that makes me relax, whether it's reading a book or watching anime, things that just make me really happy to kind of clear my mind. So I'm not going in with a biased thought or thinking, "Oh, this place is super creepy," because I don't want to have any biased opinions when I'm going into a location or going into a certain situation. So basically, I just distract myself, and that way I go in and I'm just like, la 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 la. I'm just my normal crazy self.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually, before I go into stuff, I like to watch comedies.
Yeah.
Anything that's happy, I love, there's a couple of channels on YouTube that I watch that are literally just stand-up comics.
Yeah.
And it's literally for that exact purpose, Chelsea. It's to distract my mind, completely clear the cobwebs out. And, I say a blessing for myself and wherever I'm at. And then whoever's involved, I just bless them too, because I know once I turn the antenna up and I'm listening and focusing, all kinds of things can be drawn to it. So I want to protect everybody around because I've learned that I'm a conduit. And so when things are at a certain level, a lot of stuff can come around and a lot of things get stirred up. So I want it to be gentle and I want it to be pleasant for everybody. So I just kind of protect the whole scenario. So,
absolutely.
I think it's just better for everybody that way. Can you ladies think of a case that really surprised you? Something that maybe caught you off guard a little bit, or an investigation where you kind of went, wow, I didn't see that coming. What was that?
That would be the UP.
Go ahead, Mom.
we decided to take Chelsea up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And what town was that we were in?
Newberry.
Newberry. The Newberry Hotel. And we went in and beautiful bar. We were hungry, sat down, ordered something. And naturally, there was a guy who thought he was Tom Selleck. And trust me, he was not. And
he didn't have the mustache.
And he wouldn't leave Chelsea alone.
Oh, darn it.
He just wouldn't leave her alone. And Chelsea don't take that.
Nope.
So after she put him in his place, his friend who was there with him, we knew because he was part of Oswald's Bears, and he had come downstate to do a self-defense course with all of us because he was a retired officer. And he was dying because he knew we weren't going to take it. So anyway, once we put that guy in his place, the lady who owned the hotel said to us, "Would you like to stay here and investigate it?" And we're like, "Well, sure." They were getting ready to put the place up for auction because they were losing it, which is pretty normal up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're like, "Sure." So we go upstairs and she's showing us around, and every room had a mattress on the floor. No bed springs, no bed frames, just a mattress. And I said, "What is this?" And she says, "Well, this is how we got licensed as a hotel. You had to have a bed in each room."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Oh." And I'm thinking, I wouldn't really want to stay here.
It was not the cleanliest.
So she takes us to the one room that was actually a room. And we put our stuff in it. And it's like, okay. So we carry on, and she says, "Just do whatever you want." She leaves. So Chelsea and I are going down the hallways, going through the rooms, and instantly picking up on stuff. We got whispers in the ears. We got our skin being touched. We're getting scratched. Yeah. Now, when I get scratched, it's attention. They want attention. And I normally get scratched wherever we go. But I was taking pictures. Everything, I was taking pictures. And we took them back to the room, and I'm going through my digital camera. And I'm sitting on the bed, and you know how you just know somebody's next to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I got goosebumps from my feet on up to my neck, and I looked at Chelsea, and I'm like, "Chelsea, somebody's going to sit by me." And at that point, we watched a butt impression sit right down next to me.
Oh, my.
And literally, that doesn't bother me. This time it bothered me.
Really?
It bothered me to the point that I looked at Chelsea and I said, "We can't stay here. I'm getting nauseous."
Oh, that's not good.
No. By this point, it's like 1:00 in the morning, pouring rain. And I'm like, "I don't care. We're leaving."
Yeah.
And up there, hotel rooms that time of the year are very hard to find. So we get the car, and I just couldn't shake it. I'm like, something's still with us. Something is still with us. So we drove, and we finally found a place to stay. We get checked into the hotel room, a real hotel this time.
Well, it was a motel.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I was exhausted. She was done, completely done. She crawled in bed and was about out. I was up all night watching a shadow figure outside our door go back and forth, watching the shadow go back and forth, back and forth.
Now, meanwhile, she's watching the shadow. She didn't sleep. I was asleep, but I was having nightmares all night of a shadow looming over the bed because we were in the same bed that night.
Okay.
And I just remember this very tall, dark shadow just staring at me, and it scared the hell out of me. So when I woke up the next morning, I said, "Mom, I had this nightmare all night long." And she's like, "Oh, let me tell you what I went through all night long." So it's like, oh shit.
I could tell it wasn't a nice spirit. So
No.
all night long, I'm just like, "No, you're not coming in here. No, no." Because I really felt it wanted her. It wanted to do something to her. It couldn't do anything to me. I wouldn't let it happen. There's no way.
Right.
But she was young enough at that point. It was like, oh no. Mm-mm. So the next morning we finally got out of there. We went back down across the bridge. I mean, we completely left the UP. We were done. We went down across the bridge into Mackinac City.
Mm-hmm.
Found a real nice hotel there. Checked in. We're like, okay, let's just chill out for the night. Think about this. We went to dinner across the street. Had a nice white fish dinner. So good.
So good.
Came back, putting all our stuff away in the drawers for the night. And I looked at Chelsea and I'm like, I can't find my credit card. And I'd had it with me. It was in my hand when we left.
Right.
Yep. So Chelsea's all right, let me run across to the restaurant. So she runs across the street back to the fish place.
Yep.
They let her
and they
in.
were very, very nice. I knock on the door because they were closed at that point. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you. My mom and I were just here. We were sitting at that table. Can I just check and see if she dropped her card? And like, yeah, no problem. So they let me in. I'm searching up and down all through this place, looking under rugs. I can't find it. I go through. I say, thank you so much. And I cross the road. I go back up to our room and say, Mom, I can't find it. They don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was still tearing apart the room at that point.
She had completely torn apart the room. It looked like a tornado went through that room, and we didn't even have that much stuff. And all I remember is we're talking about it, and I'm like, they don't have your card. It's not there. All of a sudden, everything goes quiet, and we hear just at the door, and they had a bench next to the door where you could like sit down and put your shoes on.
Right.
And we look over, and her debit card was sitting right in the middle of the bench. It had not been there. Clearly, had not been there because we torn apart the room. So I looked at my mom. I said, "What do we have from that hotel in Newberry? What do we have that something could attach itself to?" So she's digging through her purse, and she's like, "I have the receipt." I said, "We need to burn it."
Yeah.
And that was the first thought that hit her. And I'm like, all right. So we went out to the balcony. We lit that baby on fire. And what happened next?
So as soon as we lit it on fire, which we did do it outside on the balcony, because God forbid you do that inside.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't light fires inside, kids. Not a good idea.
Right.
We had the garbage pan. We were responsible. As soon as we lit that receipt on fire, we watched. And the best way I can describe this is if you watch Supernatural, how they depicted demons, especially in the first season, it kind of looked like black smoke rising up out of something. It was like a black smoke rose up from this receipt, shot out the window, over the bridge, and disappeared back in the direction where Newberry was, which is where we came from.
Yep.
And after the receipt burned, everything was fine. It was gone.
It was like a breath of fresh air.
Yep.
How about that?
It was the most bizarre experience. And I don't want to say it was demonic. I refuse to say it was demonic. But it was definitely something we never had dealt with before.
Okay. So it could have just been a dark energy. It could have just easily been a dark energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, I think it was after her because of her youth.
Yeah. Entirely possible.
You know, I at that point, we had just started our paranormal investigations team. I think when we went there, it was like late 2011, early 2012. So we had just started. So we were new. We were new to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'm sure that nowadays when you finish a place, you make a declarative statement that whatever's here stays here. Nothing comes home with us.
Absolutely.
We do that. All
That's
you
one of
have
those
to do is you just take it off. That's all you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big learning lesson to get started.
Oh yeah,
it really was. It really, really was. And I think that like another one was, and again, it was Chelsea again with the music box.
Oh, you're talking about Main Street Antiques.
Yes.
It's about the same time, too.
So what happened?
So where was it? Was Wheeler, Michigan, and they used to have. I don't know if they do now because I haven't been there since. But they had. It seemed like a million windmills, like the solar or the the giant white windmills, whatever they are.
Sure.
Yeah. So we go there, and while we're on the way there, I'm joking with Mom because we love the horror movie Jeepers Creepers, and it creeps her out to no end. I'm like, Mom, this looks like Jeepers Creepers.
Oh.
And I kid you not, we are driving there early morning, and there's this like old 30s, 40s rusted out truck driving behind us. I'm like, Mom, Jeepers Creepers is following behind us.
Oh, joy. Okay.
So she's yelling at me, and she's like, shut up, Chelsea, that's not funny. Right? It was so funny. But so we get there, and we're participating in a psychic fair. We're doing readings for that day. Very good crowd, very lighthearted, very positive. And the owners at the time told us, if you guys want to wander around the antique store before we start, go ahead. And we're like, okay. So me and Mom are shopping, as we do. And I remember being on the second story while she's down on the first story. And I start hearing a music box. And I'm like, oh, Mom must be playing with something. No big deal. And Mom's like, Charles, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm up here. And she's like, I think you need to come down here. I'm like, okay, no problem. So meanwhile, as I'm making my way downstairs, this music box is still going off. I'm like, what is she doing? Like, is she messing with me? What's going on? And bless these people's hearts. They were very sweet. It was not an organized store. Things were kind of cluttered, kind of just piled up on top of each other, kind of like in a you know how in American Pickers, that show where they kind of have to dig through everything? It was kind of that style. You just kind of dug through piles of stuff. No big deal. We're okay with that. We find ourselves at this big bookshelf that just piled up with stuff. So we're hearing this music box, and we're digging. We're digging in the shelf, and all of a sudden I find this powder box. It was a turquoise color powder box, had like a little cubic zirconia diamond on the top of it. As soon as I uncover it, it stops playing. So I pick it up, look at it, I open the top, there's nothing in it. I turn it over, there's the little windy thing, I wind it, I turn it back over, nothing happens. I'm like, okay. This was playing, but now it's not working. I think I'm going to buy it. So I take it to the front. They're like, oh, give me $3. Okay, here's my money. We go back to the psychic fair. I set it down at my table. We always started the psychic fair with a morning prayer just to make sure everything's good. Sure. And as we're doing this morning prayer, all of a sudden at my table, the music box starts playing. As soon as the prayer ends, it stops. And throughout the whole day, if I talked about the music box or told anybody about it, it would start playing. But as soon as I stopped talking about it, it would stop.
Wow.
Just like that. And I still have it. It's currently in storage in a tote.
Okay.
In the barn. I had to have it. I don't know.
How fun, though.
She's near that, it plays.
That's awesome.
Broken. The thing is, it's broken.
Really?
It's overwound. So and that's the thing that kind of boggles my mind about it is, you can wind it as much as you want, but it's so overwound it won't play. However, if you talk about it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can work, no problem. I'm like, what?
That's awesome. That is awesome. Very cool. Well, it's fun to be able to collect things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. But it's fun like that with when there's an energy like that with an object that's playful and fun. It's
Yeah,
nothing wicked or scary.
Yeah,
And I'm really glad that you guys are sharing these stories because people need to know that there's more positive energy in life that's connected to places and things than there is scary energy.
absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
100%. The biggest thing that I like to remind people is when you're dealing with something that's bona fide paranormal, you have to remember they're people. They're people like you and me.
Yeah.
Most people are good. Okay. Yes, you do have bad people, unfortunately, but
Sure.
the good outweigh the bad. You're
Yeah.
not going to come across a demonic entity every single place you go. So it's like,
Exactly.
stop believing in what you see on TV.
Yes. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I think that's one of the most important takeaways is the shock and awe factor is frustrating
Yeah.
because there's a lot about the paranormal for me that is absolutely a huge blessing. Good feelings, good vibrations, as the song says, and absolutely uplifting,
Yeah.
exciting, fun, the good kind of chills, not
Yeah.
not the can't sleep, can't shut my eyes because I'm scared to death kind of chills, the good
Right.
kind. And so I love having stories like this because there's a lot to not be afraid of. And I find that
Mhm.
much better. I personally have been terrified in my life from things in the paranormal, and I still have a hard time when people get super excited about being startled or scared in a scary movie because for
Sure.
me, genuine fear is not funny.
No,
It's
it's
not a
not.
ha-ha roller coaster funny type of startling. It's a gut-wrenching, overwhelming trauma. It's not
Yeah.
fun. And so I very much am glad that the paranormal has been this wonderful adventure and this wonderful learning experience and open my eyes to things that I had no idea existed. It's a
Yes.
whole other multiple I didn't say that right. A multitude of worlds in a world. There's
Yes.
so many things that are available. So let's talk about other things. So what other things other than spirits have you guys observed in your experiencing?
Animals are a big part of this family. I mean, we've seen animals that have passed come right up to us
Mhm.
just to let us know they're fine, they're okay. Um,
Mhm.
Animals are like people. You can understand them
Mhm.
if you give yourself time and the opportunity to let yourself understand them.
Right.
And I love animals, hands
Yeah,
down.
me too. Yes. They're fun. They're absolutely a blast. I enjoy them immensely.
And to go back to spirits, I do want to share with you. My brother was killed. He was ran over on his 10th birthday party. He was hit by a car while he was
Oh, I'm
sledding
so
down a hill.
sorry.
And
Oh.
that was hard. I mean, but the very next morning, I rolled over in bed and he was standing there in his long underwear and he reached his hand out to let me know he was okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was so hard for me because I
I'm
couldn't share that.
uh,
I couldn't share that with anybody in that house,
yeah.
but it was comforting.
I bet it was. Cuz how traumatic, my goodness. What a terrible tragedy that was. Wow.
Yeah, it really was.
Ugh. That's incredible.
He's in a better place now.
Yes, clearly. Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Chelsea? So creature
But
experiences, other things other than ghosts that you've encountered.
So I think one of the biggest example of something that's not been perhaps a human spirit is when I first bought the old farmhouse that I currently live in. So I live in northern Michigan, and when I first bought this house, something seemed kind of odd with it. And the longer I lived here, I realized that it seemed more raw, more energy based, and that's when I started learning more about elementals. And we did a paranormal investigation in the house, and me and my baby brother, we both saw the same same energy form, I guess you could call it. And it was it almost had like brown leathery skin. It walked on all fours and it lived in the basement. And I told him, I said, that's exactly what I see. And it's dying. And as it was dying, I had the notion to bring plants into my house. And my mom knows me, of all people. I'm not good with plants. I have a black thumb. Anything I plant dies. So the fact that the fact that I wanted to bring plants into the house was like, whoa, hold on a minute. But in my mind, I needed to bring plants in the house to honor this old sacred spirit because it was passing from this life. So with the help of my baby brother, who actually has a very green thumb, I had 3 or 4 plants in the house, and I felt the day that it passed away.
Wow.
Like all of a sudden the house just felt kind of empty. It was calm but empty. And then a few weeks later, I remember looking out because my house is surrounded by farm fields. Nothing but farm fields out here. And I see a very similar creature out in the farm fields. And I knew right away that it was almost like a child of the elemental that died in my house. Okay. So I knew that the new generation was moving into the property. So not only did I have these plants to honor the one that passed away, I felt like having these plants also shown the new spirit coming in, like, hey, I'm here to coexist with you. I mean no harm. Let's respect each other. So that was a really big eye-opening experience for me to show that there's not just human spirits in this world. And if it's not a human spirit, it's not a demon. It can be something else entirely. It can be nature-based, It's not evil.
Right. Exactly. So what is the one job that you guys did that was the funniest?
The funniest. Besides the people that were on drugs. No.
I was going to say, I think the funniest experience was when I first started my team. Because, as a little background, Spirit Walkers, I started in 2011. I was always a fan of the paranormal, as we are.
Right.
And, no other team in my area would let me kind of just gain some experience. Or like, oh, you don't have any experience. We don't want you anywhere near us. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to gain experience if I can't just sit in on something? So I started my own team.
Right.
So this was our second case we ever got. Okay. And it was near Crossroads Village. If you're familiar with the Genesee County area, it was around there, and very nice couple. It was a very nice manufactured home out in the country, very clean. And we're going through, they're telling us all these stories. And I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. And halfway through the tour, they tell us that one of the rooms is where they do all the mushrooms. And I was like, oh, and how much do you do of these recreational activities? Oh, we do them every day. Okay. So that was a very good learning experience for my team, that not everything is paranormal, and that some things can be hallucinogenically induced.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. It was fun.
I'm noticing a theme here with mushrooms with you, Chelsea.
Yeah, Yeah, I've never done that myself. That kind of thing kind of freaks me out. I'm not going to judge anybody that does them. You do what you do in a safe manner.
Right.
But just know, if you're doing mushrooms, what you're experiencing probably isn't paranormal.
Right. Exactly.
I
bet.
Well, they might really think it is.
Well, absolutely. So, what are you guys most proud of that you've accomplished in your investigating?
Every person we have helped.
Nice.
The good, the bad, everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, I think my most recent example is we did an investigation for a friend's home up in Grayling, and she didn't tell me too much information, which is fair. And we're sitting in the basement, and I'm picking up on an older woman, and I describe her Meemaw to a T. And she's like, "Oh my God, like that's my Meemaw.
Right.
Tell me more." And I described exactly how she spoke, what she wore, how she had her hair, everything. And you know, she ended the night crying, but they were happy tears because you know her Meemaw passed away a long time ago, and it was just really validating because it was when we went into that investigation, I was not expecting to pick up on anything. I always go in with a mind frame that I'm just going to do things scientifically. I'm going to try and debunk whatever there is and just do it the right way. But, you know, when that certain thing comes calling, I'm not going to ignore it either. So it made me feel really good that I was able to reconnect her with her grandmother and give her a laugh or two because that Meemaw, holy shit, she was very sassy.
So's her granddaughter.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let me tell you.
That's awesome.
I loved her immediately.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. So what about you, Donna? Just helping people you think is the thing you're most proud of?
Really it is. It is. And there's been some situations where I don't want to say I saved people, but I saved people. I really helped more than a handful of kids that were being abused or molested or terrible things. And I wouldn't let them leave until I spoke to somebody that would listen.
Good. That's amazing. That's incredible.
To me, that's the world for me. Because the last thing I want to see is someone else hurt.
Exactly. So with all of the experiences that you two have had, what are you most curious about these days? What part of the paranormal you're kind of going, I want to know more about that, or I want to check into that?
I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing is, so I love watching YouTube, as we do.
Right.
And I follow a lot of skeptics because I think it's healthy to see both sides of the spectrum. But I think I'm most curious of why is it that these skeptics they believe, they say they believe, but they haven't had these experiences. Why don't they have the experiences that we have? When I know that we as a people are able to have these experiences as a whole, what is it that is stopping them from having the same experiences as me? You know what I mean? Like, why can't they experience the same things that I do?
Some of it's doubt.
Yeah.
Some of it's the way they've been raised.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them can't let down their walls.
Yeah. That could be. Definitely.
Yeah.
I've had a few conversations with people over the years where just in going back over an event, when someone says that couldn't have happened, and then you just start getting them to go backwards and go, well, when did this happen? Well, how did that come about? And do you know why that took place? And start getting people to question their own thinking and their own rationale, and just have them just look from another angle, just from another position, another viewpoint. And sometimes people go, oh, well, that couldn't have been that. Well, no, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
And then just that little possibility, just that little glimmer of maybe sometimes is enough to crack open the window and let the light in.
Yes.
So that they can
That would
see.
be a good trigger.
Yes. And I mean, I wish that for everyone because I feel like we'd have a lot better sleep. And I think we'd have a lot better attitudes if we understood that our world is really big and full of amazing things. And we're not alone ever.
Oh my God, no, we're not. You know, and with me, I'm starting to get very interested in people are now bringing like alien life form into spirits. And it's like, is it plausible? Yeah, it could be.
Sure.
Why couldn't it be?
Right.
So I'm getting more into that. I'm researching more of that. And it's actually quite interesting.
It is. I agree. It's very interesting because the world is full of surprises. And I know that there's a lot of things I don't know. It's one of those old things of, I know that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of open-ended questions that, you know, I've had a glimmer into some other things that make me go, okay, well, I guess that's something else I need to learn about because wow, every year there's something else, some other thing that I thought was just a legend. And they say there's a grain of truth in every legend and every legend and every story and every fairy tale. There's some grain of truth in all of it.
Yes.
I think that's very real. I think
I
that's,
do too.
you know,
well, and I think one thing that I struggle with the most is like you see all these TV psychics or people that are in Hollywood and they all describe what they see as the same exact thing. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess I could kind of understand how they could see things that way, but that's not how it goes. Like, it's not predictable like they talk about. And it just really bothers me. Like, it just, that's not how it works. I just don't understand. But at the same time, I understand too that they're trying to make a buck. But it's just really hurtful to the ones that are trying to be genuine, that are trying to truly help people connect or you know, understand what's going on. But you've got these people that are being paid millions of dollars. They're like, oh, I see it as like a cloud-like life form. It's like you're talking out of your butt.
It's all about ratings. That's all it is.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah. But have patience, Chelsea, because every generation has forward thinkers that tend to get bogged down in skeptics. And you can't let anybody stop you. What you know is real is what you know. And everyone else can follow along later when their brain's able to catch up.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's just too much for some people. They have such a hard time with day-to-day life is hard enough. And the idea that there's more freaks people out, even though it's better and happier.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on today to chat with me. It's been delightful. We'll have to do this again.
Oh my God. Anytime. We love talking to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. I do have to get going here pretty quick.
Yes.
Today's my husband's birthday.
Oh, well, tell him we said happy birthday.
Oh, I will. We spent all day painting, so I guess I should really make him dinner.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I think that would be awesome. And thank you again, ladies. And I hope you have a very happy and safe 4th of July.
You too.
And, yes. And thank you again so much. This is Holly from Holly's Pandorium telling everyone thank you for stopping by. And as my dear friend Jay likes to remind me, please hit the like button, hit subscribe so other people that are interested in this content can find me. Thank you again for checking in with us, and we'll see you again soon.
Okay. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.